Hey guys, so I wanted to talk about BIM Track and their free add-in. So they have a pretty robust tool that does quite a bit when it comes to managing and coordinating using Navisworks. They do have an awesome add-in that ties into Revit that gives you the ability to quickly jump to your clashes without ever having to open Navisworks. So that's kind of nice, especially to reduce, training and, that barrier to entry and to get people to actually leverage Clash. It's a pretty valuable tool, I think. But they do have this free add-in, and it's really awesome. So I'm going to jump into the PowerPoint. We can kind of talk about it. So Navisworks, BIM Track, that's the add-in. And then you'll be able to have access. So pretty much any PowerPoint I have, you can have access to. It should be in the OneDrive link posted below. And if you go to that, it's going to have a list of every single, or at least of all the videos I've recently been doing. It'll have those, the PowerPoint and any other associated information with it. And you can have that, take it, and use it however way you want. So when you open the PowerPoint, you can click this link. It'll browse out to the BIM Track website. I'll let that open. Okay, there it goes. So, well, actually, it won't come out to the website. It'll take you to this, and then here you can download that add-in. It should be free, if I remember correctly, and you shouldn't have any issues with it. And here's their website if you want to learn a little bit more about it. What I'll do is I'll grab that, minimize this, jump back into PowerPoint, and I'll just add it down here below in the notes so that you guys can have it. If we jump back into here, so Navisworks add-in, it'll have its own tab called BIM Track, and then the add-in we're gonna look at is the group clashes, so that's totally free. And this is kind of how the dialog box looks like. So up here you'll see all your clash tests. So all the tests that you set up will be here. Then you individually select those, and then you group by some type of parameter. And I'll show you the parameters I like to group them by. Now the parameters are dependent on what information's there. If the information isn't there, you can't group it. But if it is there, then you have that option to group by. So here's a little bit more information about that dialog box. So we have group, it's the grouping clashes dialog box, and then so here's those tests. So we have mech duct, pipe versus ceiling. So this is the A1. This is the A1 or the AIA E202 document. It kind of talks about level 1, 2, and 3 collisions, and I had those set up. So in this example, we'll just take a look at a simple clash test, but in this example, that's what's going on here. And then below, you'll see group by level and then grid intersection. I find that's a nice way to group it. You group it by level, and then you group it by grid intersection, and then you get all those, duct runs and, the kind of consolidating a lot of those clashes into one area. It just allows you to filter down a little bit quicker. So I'm going to escape out of this, and we'll take a look at those clashes. So, and kind of how to group. So we'll come down here, and we have our clashes set up. Nothing's ran yet, so we'll just say update all. That'll run. And I think there's somewhere around 4,000 clashes in this or so. Somewhere around there. Yeah. So around 3,100 something or 200. And right here you can see the mech duct pipe versus rated walls. There's quite a bit there, 3,000. And some, a general workflow that a lot of people do is they'll kind of skim through these and try to identify the clashes that are a waste of time, so they can minimize the effort that the design group has to, have focusing on these. So, and again, that helps with adoption and the effectiveness behind the tool. So if we go up here to group clashes, we can try to reduce that number down so we can kind of consolidate it into bigger bites of information that we can quickly review. So Starting with the first one, we can just grab it. We'll drop that down. We'll sort by level, and then by grid intersection, we'll say group. I like to uncheck keep existing groups. And then we'll take a look at this one, and we'll group by level, then grid intersection, and then group. And then we should see that update. And it looks like it's updating now. Okay. I'm just going to close that, and then we can kind of take a look at this list. So we can see now we've filtered those 3,000 clashes to 46. The bulk of them are groups now, so we can kind of get an idea. And then those ones down here don't group with anything. And then if we want to expand this, we just press on it, and then we can expand those and kind of get a better idea. Also, when you click on this, any of these, it'll give you an idea of all the groups that are associated with this, or all the elements that are associated with this group. And then you have some different visualization things you can do, like dim other, highlight different stuff, things like that. I would go through these, but I can't because this model I can't really share, but it's a nice way to see how it consolidates the information. Another thing we can take a look at is if we open up this Envirodome, or actually this ice stadium project. We'll say no. Okay. Now I've got just one test in there, and if we look at the select, we'll just select and we'll just clash against itself. You know what? Actually, I'm going to open up the Envirodome because it's a lot smaller and easier to clash. So we're just going to come up here and say update all. It'll run through those clashes. It'll find them. So we have 144 clashes. We'll come up here and group clash. And you'll see here, group by. We don't have those options because that information isn't in this model. But what we'll do, just so we can see how groups work, is we'll just say group A to group B, and then we'll group. We'll even see if that allows us. Yeah, it may not. Even this won't, I don't think. Yeah, that information isn't there. Let's try. So let's go into our test. Oh, it did. Okay, my bad. So it did group. I didn't see that. I expected to have a bit of wait time, so you can see it reduced it down to 70. Still quite a bit, but if we click on it, you can see it groups a number of elements together. You can get a better idea kind of what's going on. So again, you know, to try to group that information, the way that it's grouping this may not be that great, but I found it to be really helpful by level, and then by grid intersection is really helpful. You shouldn't run into any issues if you export out an NWC from Revit. When you dump it into Navisworks, you should have those options when you open up BIM Track. Just in this example, that information doesn't pertain to these sample models. But to give you an idea of kind of how groups work, it just groups a number of clashes in there, and then you can see all the elements by jumping to those views. So, I don't have anything else. Hopefully that helps you. I found this helps with managing it, so I'd like to hear if you do use it, if it helps you. And yeah, let me know if there's anything else you want to learn, or if you need any help, just reach out anytime. Thanks a lot for watching.